exhaustion, anger, you name it, it's the opposite of soft life. Okay. And the funny thing about soft life, I'm learning as I mature into my, first of all, let me say this, your 30s. Now, I've heard women in their 40s say this, but I'm going to say this as someone who's almost through their 30s. It's so much better here than in your 20s. And if you are in your 20s and you're also like raising babies and you're also trying to build a business and you're also trying to achieve your dreams, et cetera, I promise it gets better, babe. And also it will revamp and rebrand itself as time goes by. But like your 20s, it's something about your 20s that you have so much time. And it's a lot of stuff I feel like in your 20s you think are life and death, and it's just not. It's just not. So it gets better. But I also will say that in your 30s, it's literally you're forced to discover yourself in a real way. And so we're going to talk about what it looks like to be a woman who walks through this life, is okay with not getting everything right, because of that has a regulated nervous system. Do you hear me when I say regulated? I mean, she is able to show up. She is able to try new things. She's not beating herself up. She's not calling herself a bad mom, a bad friend every 5 seconds. She is just okay with being a woman who's a human being. And and I want us to understand where this comes from, because maybe once you actually address it within yourself, maybe once you forgive the people who might have caused these wounds in you, it can give you some solace. It can give you some grace and some peace, right? So let's get to it. Let's get to it. So I really want us to start with some definitions, because again, I want you to actually learn and be able to apply this. So I hope you take notes when you do this. If not, just sit here and listen, girly, and we just chatting. First and foremost, and I don't mean to come out the gate because I wanted this to sound more like a girly conversation, but you can't receive grace from God, the very grace that he says will follow you all the days of your life. This is your verse of the week, by the way. Let me look it up because I didn't, because I just say it all the time. Surely. Yes. Surely, baby. Surely. Psalm 23, verse 6. Let's take it there. If anyone wants to post in the chat, feel free. But this is your verse for the week. Surely his goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Surely. There's you cannot escape it. And it's following you. It's not like you're asking him for it and he's just like, all right, sure, here's some grace and some mercy. Surely his goodness and mercy. So first I want us to know the definition of mercy. Mercy is not receiving what we do deserve. Grace is receiving more than what we haven't earned, what we can't earn. And you guys know the story in the Bible. You understand what grace is. That's grace. We don't give it to ourselves, however, for some reason. You can't receive grace from God if you don't know how to receive it from others or yourself, including him. Hello. So, not receiving grace in your day-to-day life, because grace is required for you to live a life that is tolerable, that is enjoyable, that has peace. Because guess what, sis? I don't know who told you this, but you can't be perfect. And I'm so sorry. And I know you want to be. And I know you have this particular way a good mom looks, and this particular way a good friend looks. And what the internet says, this is what it looks like when you're successful. And this is what it looks like when you're this and that. And you're trying to follow somebody's template. It's not even yours. You're like, my life don't look like this. My house don't look like that. My content don't look like this. This don't look like that. And so it's bad. That is the all or nothing thinking we were talking about. Because of this way of thinking, we cause our own anxiety, our own stress, if you will. And what girly can have peace in their mind? They're constantly at war with themselves and their performance, constantly assessing themselves. So not receiving grace triggers anxiety within us, Because not receiving grace keeps you in a constant state of monitoring, self monitoring, a constant state of perceived threat coming. Why? Because what happens when Sharonda makes a mistake? What happens when Tarisha falls short of what she thought a good mom is? What happens when Kalisha says, "Oh, I did something that I didn't think a good daughter should do"? Are you like, "You know what, girl, you're going to get it right the next time"? Or are we like, we go to war? "Girl, you know better than that. You forgot that. Oh, you're so stupid. Oh my gosh, you're so dumb. Why did you do that? And don't let me get my coat stuck on a door." I'm just literally just the smallest things. I'm at war with myself. But we expect to live this peaceful life. And not only do us hypervigilant girlies self monitor, we also hyper monitor other people's reactions to us. And we think what we look at, perceive in another person is true. We didn't ask that person if they're rejecting us in that moment. We didn't ask that person if they think we're stupid. You're sitting at home replaying conversations. "Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That grocery store lady probably thinks I'm an idiot because I told her I love you instead of thank you." She is not thinking about you. She has bills. She has kids. They're not thinking about you. But here we are, meditating. You know why that is? Your brain loves to create certain emotions that we react to, that we love to engage with. And for a lot of us, it's emotions that we're used to from our childhood, from times that were stressful, even though they're not fun to feel. I know. Why do you think it was okay, or even a thought in the mind of the Israelites, to want to go back to slavery? It's just what they were familiar with. Why do you think your friend that you keep answering the phone calls and she's crying because her boyfriend broke up with her for the 75th time, and you done gave her the same advice for the 800th time and she went right back to him? Why? It's not good for her, but it's comfortable. Yes? Okay, let's continue. God gives us constant grace, compassion, approval, acceptance. And I know even hearing those words, it's you can breathe. I am accepted. I want y'all to repeat me after me, okay? I am accepted as I am. I am good enough as I am. It is possible for God to bless me beyond what I feel I deserve. I am a good mother. I am a good friend. I am a loving daughter. Yes, I make mistakes, but God still made me on purpose. God still says yes to me. God still hears me, even if he doesn't answer me the way I want him to. He's still answering me. You have to start teaching yourself to give yourself grace. Because how did we learn it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we learned this. Oh, I'm sorry. Again, going to be triggering. Just please forgive me. But we got to get through this. So, God gives us grace, compassion, and encouragement every single day. Understand that, okay? Because what did we just read? Surely goodness. It doesn't say how the goodness is delivered, but God oftentimes sends people, TikToks, it can use anything to speak a word into you, right? It could be the person at the grocery store you walk past. It could be your freaking dog. That's just, "Oh, I love you today." Oh, Ace, oh my God. If y'all know Ace, he is constantly just showering me with affection. And I'm just like, but if you can see God's goodness in things, in all things, it helps you develop this intimacy with him, that this sort of habit of thinking all or nothing, shaming yourself, it can't exist when you have a certain level of intimacy with God. And if you allow God to talk to you every day through goodness, it strengthens your trust, your relationship, your ability to remember to speak to him throughout the day, because now it's an experience that restores you and not just this experience where you're just crying out to God and he never answers you, right? Because it can oftentimes feel that way. But there are things, sis, that you aren't perceiving that are good because your mind has been skewed through the pain you've been through. So, although there's all this goodness, Katie, in the day for you, the Bible says that he thinks thousands of good thoughts towards you a day. And how many of us only got 2 or 3 of them? Just me? Y'all are getting as many grains of sand, good things downloaded into you every single day? Y'all need to write a book. Who has it? Let me read it. Because we can miss the goodness of God in everyday moments because our perception's off. How did it get here? All or nothing thinking. That's the first one. Remember, I told you the cognitive filter we put on that ignores all the good things that we've done for the day and focuses on the bad. It focuses on extremes. So, Katie, you did all these wonderful things for your kids the past 2 years. One day you do something and you're like, wow, I'm really a bad mom. So, all of the millions of good things you've done, like keep them alive, okay? Period. Keep them alive and not kill them. That's a blessing. All goes out the window when you do the one thing. So all or nothing thinking is unfair because as humans, we are going to make mistakes. And so your mind goes, I'm either a good mom or a bad mom. I'm either a good friend or a bad friend. I've either succeeded or I've failed. I've either done everything right or nothing is working. They either love me or they hate me. I either can do it perfectly or I'm not even going to start. There's no point in me trying because I don't have a business coach. I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. Well, God didn't answer me how I wanted him to, so that means he's not answering me at all. So it's either God sent 3 butterflies as a sign, or God is silent in this season. And all or nothing thinking locks you out of the happy middle. The progress, the growth. You aren't where you were last year. But you missed that because you're sitting here judging yourself off some crazy template that's impossible for you to live up to. So, how does this affect our self-esteem? Uh-oh, we're really going to talk about some girly stuff right now, okay? Self-esteem. What is self-esteem? What's the difference between self-esteem and self-worth? Let's just put it simply. Self-esteem is how you evaluate yourself. It's your confidence in your ability, your qualities, and your competence. Notice self-esteem. Let me read it again, Katie. Nobody's answering me. Self-esteem is how you evaluate yourself, your own confidence in your abilities, your qualities, and your competence. It is on you. But how many of us evaluate ourselves how others perceive our abilities, our competence, our qualities? How the world does. So self-esteem is, how do I feel about myself? Write this down, please. Self-esteem is, how do I feel about myself and what I am able to do? I want you guys to journal this tonight. I might do a Substack on it because I don't know. For some reason, I was feeling, of course, I wrote this an hour ago, but I was feeling today that it's some people who have been really down on themselves, some people who don't know who they are, some people who have forgot, okay? Because even on my worst day, I'm still that girl. Yesterday, I left the office as early as I ever have, had so much to do. But guess what? Once I got in my tub and put my Epsom salt in the bathtub, with my 30-year-old body, I was like, you know what? You're that girl still. Ain't nothing changed. I mean, you're crashing out, but you're still her. Okay? I am. God favors me. He loves me. He knows me. And for a lot of us, healthy confidence sounds like arrogance because we don't afford it to ourselves. If you don't believe in you, who's going to esteem your self-esteem? Who going to do it? If you're not your biggest fan, who else can believe in you? I'm just Now God has made you. He made you in his image. He has placed a thing in you. He has given you a gift, Moses, and you out here arguing him down. Gideon, arguing him down. Who you not? Whether you say it with your mouth or with your lack of action, you argue him down. So what's self-worth, Sabrina? Let's talk about it. Self-worth. Self-worth is your belief that you have value simply because you exist. Period. Not if Katie was a good mom today. Not if Sabrina got all the stuff she wanted to get done today. Not if Tarisha started her business and kept it moving. Simply because she is a woman that God created, loves, sent his son to die for, she has worth and value. Period. Not because of what she's achieved, how she looks, what others think of her. Self-worth is, again, Sabrina, you have to self your worth. It's your belief. Not because he thinks you're worthless. He said you don't look good. He said you never achieved nothing. Your mom said you're a loser. Self-worth, self-esteem. This is on you, ladies. And a lot of us have taken cues because we value other people's over ours. This is self-esteem, self-worth. Where does it come from? And if you don't ground it in the rock, the foundation, your self-esteem and your self-worth does this. And what does the Bible say about double-mindedness? Because I'm not giving y'all all the verses. Y'all got to work sometimes too. Okay? I'll wait. Also, you should journal this question for self-worth. Self-worth. Do I believe, not does your boyfriend, your ex, your best friend, thank you, Sandra. Do I believe I'm valuable? So if Sharonda's value changes based on how much content she posted this week, she's only valuable on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so that means the following week, maybe she's not even valuable on Mondays because she didn't post enough. Your worth has to be grounded in something that is immovable. Listen, it's the week of the crash outs. I'm just saying. Your self-esteem, your confidence in your ability cannot fluctuate if other people don't have that same reassurance in you. A simple difference. Self-esteem can change with experiences, but self-worth should remain steady even in your perceived, because that means it doesn't mean you failed, you just perceive that you failed. Y'all are going to hate this, but I love you, so I'm going to say it anyway. I'm sorry. What would you like me to do? Lie? I can't do that. I have to tell you the truth. All or nothing thinking. Where does this come from? Think back to childhood just a little bit. You ain't got to go too far. Childhood, teenage years, 20s, however old y'all are, think back. All or nothing thinking develops when? And you can just send me a little heart. You don't have to say yes. But if this has happened to you, this could be where it's come from. When you made mistakes, there were big consequences. Got in trouble, you got maybe an unequal punishment. There was a time in your life, this is the second one. The second one is there was a time in your life where things were unpredictable or unsafe, and you realized it. You didn't know if mom was going to be happy today or drunk today. You didn't know if dad was going to beat her or not. You didn't know if you're going to have food or if your brothers were going to do this or that. Or there was a time in your life where things were unpredictable. A lot of women that have experienced like homelessness or hard times, addiction, unpredictable or unsafe times in your life where you didn't know if you'd have security the next day. Third thing, perfection seemed like the only way to be in control or to not get in trouble. Perfection seemed like the way to get praise. You get all A's on your report card? That one C though, I'm taking your phone. What? Y'all missed all these, you missed all these other A's? I'm confused. My average is a B. No, all A's are nothing. So our nervous system learned, I have to get this right to stay safe. I have to get this right, not even according to what you think is right, someone else deems to be right. And so we are constantly outsourcing our safety, our security, our peace. How many of you will go home and replay conversations like I mentioned earlier? Or how many of you will sit in a conversation and just look at how people are nodding if they're listening? You're like, they're bored with me. They don't want to talk to me because you can just notice things in their face. Somebody doesn't text you back right away. You're literally like, oh, they hate me. Oh, they hate me. Oh my gosh. Because you have learned that you have to monitor or control what's out here and adhere to it in order to feel safe, secure, worthy, accepted, valuable. And this causes us anxiety constantly around people, especially. And you think you just like to be home by yourself, hold up, not dating and isolating. And you think you're being holy because you don't want to go nowhere. Really, you're just scared. And it's okay. I understand. It was me. It went through a phase. Because it takes a lot out of you to get around people. Because we literally are constantly monitoring us and them when we're in rooms, measuring. Low self-esteem. Next one. If you experience low self-esteem as an adult woman, it can be because in your childhood, someone you valued or saw as a guardian, someone that was important to you, teacher, even authority figure, repeatedly criticized or compared you. And by criticism, that can even be, wow, I come home and y'all, who still has that reaction? You got to get up and start moving because you like, if I look too rested, my mom's going to get me. Why are you resting? There's dishes in the sink and y'all didn't take the chicken out the freezer. these things were ingrained in us. And so now resting is like, oh my gosh, someone on TikTok talked about this, how we learn some stuff in childhood. So they were talking about how when they moved in their house, they were always in their bedroom and they didn't realize, like, I have a whole house. But like as a kid, as a teen, they stayed in their room. And I was like, so I started sitting in my loft. I started coming downstairs to my living room. I have a 3-bedroom townhome and I love my TV in my bedroom. One reason is because it's like 75 inches, but it's in there because I like to be in there. And I didn't realize that was something I learned because it was safe in my room. Not that it was like abusive outside, it was just the only space I had to myself. And when we look back and think, we see a lot of these things that we have outgrown, but stayed. So, low self esteem, criticism, comparison from authority figures, bullying, rejection, humiliation from peers. Achievements were minimalized or never enough, like I said about the A on the report card or the C. And you learn that even in your effort or existing, that you were not good enough. Last one, self-worth. In childhood, teen years, 20s, previously, love felt approval based. It felt conditional. Oh, they love me if they do this, that, or if I do this, that, that. Abandonment, emotional neglect, or repeated rejection. So mom comes home in a bad mood, you're getting neglected that day. I'm sorry. Like, she don't know how to handle her emotions, so that's just the day. So y'all kids go outside and play and leave me alone. I don't know about y'all, but I had to be the kid that initiated us saying I love you on the phone because I heard my white friend saying it. And I was like, why don't we do that? So I went home and I started saying it until my mom started saying back to me. We just didn't do it. My aunts, nobody does it. Also, I had to like hug them first. When my mom and my aunt were here this time, I went and sat on them. Like, I was like, I don't care. My aunt hates it. I don't care. We're going to be affectionate in this house and y'all getting older. So get over it. At this point, you can't even fight me. You're getting older now. Fight me about it. But affection. But these things affect us as adult women. And we desire intimacy. We desire affection, platonic and romantic. Doesn't make you weak, makes you human. And the last one, your value felt tied to your performance, your behavior, or pleasing others. So as a child, you perceived that when your performance and your behavior was good, you were pleasing to them more so. If you were bad, they didn't love you as much, or you were the bad sibling and she liked your brother more that day or whatever. But it taught you that you have to earn love and acceptance. And so what all three of these things say when they're low is my safety, which humans need to be alive. My acceptance and my value depends on me getting things right. And so it taught us to constantly monitor even the normal expected mistakes we're going to make in order to diminish those from happening. And that's why you get so jolted. Does anyone, this is probably like a niche feeling, but I think Sandra, me and you were talking about it, or somebody liked it when I put it on Substack. But I have this lingering feeling of like, I'm about to get in trouble. Like, I can't even explain it to you, but it's really just kind of like this, just every once in a while, I'm just like, oh, I hope I don't get in trouble. And I'm literally 35. Where is my supervision? Who is about to get me in trouble? And then when I would get trouble at work, I would cry. It was so triggering. I had just this fear of being perceived and like also perceived to be getting in trouble. So don't call me in the office or none of that. I don't got the emotional capacity for it. Don't do that. But I was so sensitive to it. And that's because I'm constantly doing it to myself. Well, I knew if nobody understood, Sabrina would, okay? Girl, I'm tired of it here. I'm soft life is for me. I'm over it. So a normal mistake now feels like rejection. It feels like shame. It feels like danger. It feels like proof that something is wrong with you. And if you feel like you continuously keep dropping the ball when you keep raising the bar, Tarisha, Katie, you keep raising the bar. If you make no mistakes as a mom, now you're a good mom. You make one mistake, you're a bad mom. Nobody's trying to live up to those, like, who can do that? Please, look at our parents. Ciao. And that is where grace becomes difficult for you to receive. So I'm asking you, sis, what is your template? If you learn that your worth has to be earned, that receiving something that you didn't earn is uncomfortable or unsafe, how have you accepted Jesus in your heart? That is literal grace incarnate. That is what grace is. Receiving more than we think we deserve. That is literally the gospel. But if you can't even receive a compliment, how do you receive salvation? How do you receive more than you ask or think? Ephesians 3:20. How do you receive favor on your life when God starts opening doors that doesn't look like you qualify for, Sabrina? And you will subconsciously close every door that God opens for you because you can't even perceive it if your self-worth is here. And so I need you to recognize it, because that's what's kept you stuck all this time. It's not even procrastination for the sake of, oh, I don't feel like doing it. You're not lazy. You are afraid of getting it wrong on a bigger level. And if grace is receiving what we haven't earned, and mercy is not receiving what we do deserve, when God is not punishing us, we will do it ourselves. When you do something you deem against your template, you will literally torture yourself mentally. Ruminate on something that gives you negative feelings and emotions. Shame. Bad girl. You're so bad. Why did you do that? You're awful. And before you know it, this is the soundtrack of your life. What does a girl do when she expects punishment, but God doesn't do it? You expect God to close the door on marriage because you, I don't know, cheated on your ex or committed adultery. You did something bad. And now, so you expect God to go, well, you're just lucky to be here, honestly. Just hush and don't pray for nothing. Is that God? Is that his nature? Do you see how we can knock ourselves out of a position? Only you can do that. He is waiting on you like the prodigal son. Because the prodigal son literally walked away from favor. Had a great life. He's like, bye, peace, I'm out. It's too peaceful here, bye. He made destructive choices. He lost everything. He came home and he said, you know what? I just want to be home. I don't need nothing like I had before. I don't deserve it. I'm a wicked sinner. I'm awful. I never started the business, God. I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good daughter. I went back to the abusive relationship. Okay, I live crazy. Look at me. So I'm just happy to sit in this church pew. I'm just happy to be here. Just let me be here. And what happened? His father threw him a party that day. He hugged him, threw him a party, and made him the fattest pig to eat. That is the amount of grace available to us every time we make a mistake. But because God isn't punishing you, Sabrina, do you want me to keep repeating this till y'all write it down? Because God isn't punishing you, you do it yourself and you lock yourself out of what you feel you don't deserve because you didn't hold up to your standard. And so you don't let yourself experience favor you don't feel you earned. That's not God. That's not his character. Can y'all hear me? Is this mic on? Y'all got really quiet after that part. Okay, well, I'm just going. The son tried to prove himself to be worthy of the lowest seat in his father's home. And the father gave him Ephesians 3:20. His behavior needed correction because don't nobody go back and pull these clips going, well, Mikhail told them they could do whatever they want and be successful. I ain't say that. What I'm saying is two things can be true. Your behavior needs correction. Your mind needs renewed. And God still deems you worthy of what he's always had for you. Your failure didn't cancel it. You just get up and go again. Romans 8:38. Nothing. 8:38 and 39. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Oh, can y'all hear me? No? Y'all can't hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is it better? Yeah? Somebody tell me, because I'm going to keep talking. Okay, great. Okay, last point, because I don't want to rush through this part. I'll do it next week, but I do want to leave y'all with this. Perfect. I'm actually going to give this to y'all in a note. And I'm also going to post this as a study guide on, it's not going to be a study guide. It's going to be more so of like a, I'm crying, Sandra. It's going to be more like a, so after each of these, since I'm going to do more like definition based stuff, I'm going to do like a guide that has definitions for you guys and kind of like a cliff notes so you guys can pull them up on the app. Does that sound good? If you actually use it, Katie, I'll do it. Okay? Because, you know, you be ghosting us. So if y'all not going to use it, I'm not going to do it. Okay. Self-esteem. I may discover that I'm weaker. I may discover that I'm stronger. I may discover that I'm more capable or less prepared than I thought. Self-esteem is flexible. Self-esteem requires you to live in uncertainty. And when you don't think you can do it, you lean on God. The reason you can't ever be without him is because when we are weak, he is strong. So you have to have times where he has to fill in the gap. That is grace. And self-worth. Nothing I have discovered about myself today, no mistake that I made, determines whether I am worthy of love, belonging, dignity, or grace. And so if you've ever ended up in a relationship that is beneath you, if you ever ended up in a situation that you knew it wasn't right, okay? You just knew, but you stayed. It's not because you didn't know they were treating you badly. You stayed because part of you accepted it or felt you deserved it. You're not dumb. You know what they doing. So why do you stay? I ask myself that in my 20s, girl. What are we gonna call it? I don't know if it was not emotional maturity, and I don't know. It was just something. It's something about your 20s. I'm telling you, the mind comes back in your 30s. Understand? It does. But I realized a lot of that emotional abuse and things like that I tolerated or went back to. I was doing it to myself already. But again, unless someone puts a mirror in front of your face and goes, hey, sis, you kind of think like this you kind of torture yourself with your own thoughts. Like you kind of aren't nice to yourself. Because Tarisha, imagine if you talk to me like you talk to you when you make a mistake. And I'm coming to you for comfort. You can't escape from you. So you better learn to be kind and give yourself love and grace. But the better you treat yourself, the better people you attract. You can always tell how much you love somebody. You can always tell how much you love yourself by who you keep around you. Pay attention to that next time y'all find a new friends. How do those people treat them? And what do they tolerate? So in this season, please assess what you've been allowing that is less than God has for you. Promise? Great. Wonderful. Love it. I am going to post this, and if I post this, it better get like a like by every person that looks at it, and it better be a decent amount, or I'm not doing it again. I'm serious. Simply because I just don't have time unless you're going to use it. So yes, I will post this guide, and then I'll finish this next week because I want to get through this next part about how self-esteem affects how we move into things that we want to do or have been afraid to do. And then how we lean on God for it. But these going forward will be more definition based because I want you to come away with knowing exactly what things are. Yes, you can actually live them out. Okay? I love you guys dearly. I took a week episode break from the pod. If you guys listened to last week's episode, though, it's kind of this. So if you haven't, that's your assignment. Give us a takeaway, even if it's Katie and Tawanga. I know we're going to get some takeaway. Sabrina, you can do them if I make her do it. Sandra, Sharonda, y'all know the drill. Do some takeaways in the girl talk chat for us. Thank you. And yeah, okay. I love y'all very much, and I will see you Wednesday for prayer, poops. Yes, amen. For real, we got to be Sabrina.